Hey, it's Tom from Texas, and it's time for another Floppy deep dive. And tonight we are doing another Commodore versus Atari series. And today we are going to be looking at the classic Choplifter from 1982 by Brøderbund Software. This was written by Dan Gorlin, and I just love this game. It's just such a simple game, but I love the flying the sorties and doing the different things in Choplifter, like rescuing the men, shooting at the tanks, shooting at the planes, and trying to rescue these guys and bring them back to base. This is where I learned the word sortie from. And I thought it would be cool just to check out these two systems. And in fact, we might, like I always do, check out some additional systems too, just to see what they look like. But these are two of the original. The original Choplifter is from Apple, and they had it in 1982. Also, but it originally came out on the Apple II, and I think a lot of people played on that. So we'll check out the Apple II also. This is one of the few games that they actually, this came out on the home computer systems first, and then they made an arcade game of it, which is rare for it to do that. Usually it's the other way. It came out in the arcade and then they ported it over to the system. But this one did the complete opposite and came out first here and then later went over to the arcade. So we'll check out the arcade version too. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and check out the gameplay on the Commodore 64 and the Atari 800XL first.
So first we're going to look at the Commodore 64 version, and this is the version that I played when I was a kid and first introduced to Choplifter. And I had this on a floppy. I got it from someone, traded, downloaded, one of the ways. But anyway, I love this game. I love any game that you could, so easy just to pick up and play. And this game is not easy though. It gets more difficult as you play. And how this works, it's just basically a scrolling game that when you take and you steer the helicopter into battle, and you gotta break the hostile line and rescue the hostages. And so they got these captured sheds out there that you go in there, and they gotta be opened up first. And usually the tank blows it up so you can go in there and let the people out and rescue them and then bring them back to base. And you have to land to rescue all the little different men running in there. And while you land, you've got these people attacking you. The tanks keep shooting at you, the guns keep going. And so you can carry a maximum of 16 people and transport them back to base. And like I said, you got to be careful of the tanks, you got to be careful of the airplanes and the drones. So it just continues to get harder and harder. And the idea is you got to rescue all these hostages, and the game's over when all 64 people have been picked up, or either you die 3 times. But the goal is to pick up a total of 64 hostages and bring them back to base. And again, this game was originally developed for the Apple II computer, and it was later ported over. And like I said, also ported to arcade. And there was many imitations and clones that followed this one, but this was the original. And I thought for 1982 this was awesome graphics. They did a really good job. It looked really well. You control everything with the joystick and the shooting, and you hold down your fire button and you just go left and right in those different directions. And again, I like that simplicity of just being able to pick up a joystick and play a game. It wasn't hard to figure out, but it was still so entertaining and just so much fun. So that's the Commodore 64. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Atari 800XL. So now we're going to look at the Atari 800XL, and you can see that there is definitely a difference in how they were presented on the Commodore versus the Atari 800XL. But the Atari looks really, really good. And one of the things that was truly important to me making this video was showing you a true representation of what the Atari 800XL looks like. If you go out there on YouTube, you see a lot of people did an emulation, And in emulation mode, it just does not come across truly how it looks when you're playing on the original 800XL. And the reason is that many Atari games took advantage of a glitch in the way the color TV is displayed in order to generate extra colors from the high-res graphics mode. So that's why it's important when you're out there looking. And when I was looking at this game, Choplifter, on YouTube that other people made, just because I don't want to duplicate a lot of the same things people made, and I saw a lot of the emulation, and my game did not look like anything they were putting out there, and you could truly see that they were using emulation. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I have to use emulation too on systems that I don't use or don't own, but when you have the original and you're trying to represent, Commodore and show it and Atari, I truly want to show you guys exactly what I'm seeing in the original hardware and how it looked back in 1982. So what you're looking at now is a true representation of what I saw and what I see now today playing this on my Atari 800XL, and this is how it looked, and I'm sure this is how a lot of people saw it. But again, the graphics were so important, so it was important for me to capture this exactly like that and not try to use some emulation or try to use something else so it didn't show it exactly how it should be. So I enjoyed the Atari 800XL version too. It plays exactly the same rules and everything, but just a fun game. They did a really good job in this game also on the Atari 800XL, and enjoyed it. I give it 2 thumbs up, just like I did the Commodore. Love them both. Everybody wants to know, well, which one did you love the most? Well, I have, ties to the Commodore 64, but I try to be as fair as possible to both systems because they're both great in my opinion, and they're very similar. And it's amazing, what the Commodore did with their lack of colors. But Atari did a great job with their colors too, and has a lot more colors than the Commodore 64. But both of these games came across really well. Enjoyed playing them both, and like I said, just important to me to show you truly how it looked on this system. And now we can say out here on YouTube, there's a true representation of the Atari 800XL and what it truly looked like. So I hope you enjoyed both of these. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you some of the different systems that also made Choplifter, also show you the arcade, show you the original Apple II. Apple II, a lot of the original stuff first always comes out on Apple. So I'll show you that little bit of that, and then each of these other systems that I have, I'll show you Choplifter on those, a little, 1 minute or so of each of those games. I just thought it was cool to see how it kind of morphed throughout those years from the arcade and how people just love the whole concept of it. Because like I said, great game, easy just to pick up and play, grab a joystick, and anyone can play this game. So let's go ahead and let's look at some of those other versions. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this journey looking at Choplifter from 1982 on multiple different systems. Now, this isn't an all-comprehensive list. I'm sure there's some systems out there that I might have missed, but I thought this was a pretty good representation of how Choplifter changed over the years and how it was ported to the arcade and how the games looked like after that. So if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Give me any kind of comments down on the bottom. What system did you play? And until next time, thank you for joining me on another Floppy Deep Dive.